Hey everyone, welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul, and today we have a special guest here in the Newegg TV studios. This is Nick from ASUS. How's it going, Nick?
Good. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing fantastic. We talked to Nick at CES 2013 this year, and he has come back and he's brought a lot of goodies. You can check out our Newegg TV YouTube channel if you want to see all the videos that we've done with him today, because we've done quite a few. We're continuing that with a closer look at this monitor right here, and this is actually a monitor that's been out for a little while, but it's gained a lot of popularity for several different reasons, and they might not all be the reasons that you might expect, because this is a 3D monitor. Model, I should say, is the VG248QE. Now, let's go back history a little bit. We have 3D monitors that started coming out, and in order to have 3D, you had to have a really high refresh rate. That sort of started out at 120 hertz in order to do 60 hertz per eye when it was actually reproducing the images. Monitors started to be created for that with high refresh rates. And then we've also found that they've been going into a different realm, which is not for 3D, but actually 2D gaming at really high refresh rates to get a really high frame rate and really smooth motion with limited or no motion blur.
Which I think a lot of people have been wanting that experience in the desktop environment too, and people see the differences just dragging windows around.
And it's been very popular with gamers, especially those of us who remember CRT days. Where you had really big, bulky monitors, but they did have some benefits, such as that high refresh rate. So let's start off. Let's talk a little bit about the panel itself. So this is a 24-inch monitor, TN panel, and 144 hertz resolution. So what sort of went into the design choices in assembling this unit in the way that you guys have done that?
Sure. So like you said, we went with a TN panel and tuned it as well as possible to be able to still have the 144 hertz refresh like you mentioned, and the 1 millisecond gray to gray response time.
1 millisecond. That is gray to gray.
Yeah.
Measured. That's a really fast response time.
Exactly. So this is getting really popular with gamers. It is Nvidia 3D Vision 2 ready. We didn't include the transmitter in order to keep the cost of the monitor down so that people could kind of decide on their own if they want to go out and get the actual 3D Vision kit, or they could just have the benefits of the higher refresh rate. So the VG248QE, that's what we came out with to be able to give people what they want, and they can buy that 3D Vision kit on top if they'd like to.
All right.
So as far as on the connection side, on the back end, you'll have DisplayPort, HDMI, and dual-link DVI. You do have a couple 2-watt speakers in there, and you do have audio in and audio out as well. Okay,
and we also have some of the features from ASUS that you might be familiar with some of the other monitors, such as the Splendid display modes. And then this particular monitor also has some extras. But, so
we can show kind of like our other monitors. We do have the Splendid mode, so you can switch from different color temperatures and kind of get the color that you're looking for that specific usage. And like I think you were about to mention, was the Game Plus feature, which is kind of a new thing for OSD as far as monitors are concerned.
So the idea is that if you're playing a 3D game and you've got it set up in 3D mode, that sometimes, especially if you're playing a first-person shooter, the reticle sometimes is difficult to perceive, or sometimes is floaty, or doesn't actually give you the precision that you might want when you're trying to aim and get a headshot. So
correct.
ASUS has come up with a solution.
So we came up with a solution. You'll have a crosshair on the screen, and you'll also be able to have a timer on the screen for more RTS type strategy games.
All right. So a couple different
let's take a look at this. One of the first things that we're going to do here is we're going to open up the Nvidia control panel, and we're going to see that we do have the 144 hertz option right away. We'll go ahead and apply that so that we have the monitor running at 144 hertz. And then let's go ahead and check out some of those Game Plus features in a game. So what we have here is Crysis 3. Let's go into the options and disable the crosshair. Let's go ahead and make sure we save those changes. And let's get into the game. So right down here next to that Splendid option, you can see that we have a Game Plus option. You go ahead and click it, you'll have the aim point and the timer options. You can choose which one you want. We're going to go ahead and do the crosshair right now.
Okay.
And here we'll have an option of 4 different crosshairs. So you can see them overlay. We'll hit the menu button to select one. And we have the crosshair set up and ready to go.
All right. So any game that if the crosshair is not behaving the way you want it to, or if you were playing a game that doesn't have a crosshair and you want to maybe give yourself a little extra edge, Well, you can overlay that, and it's always going to be dead center for wherever you're aiming.
So we can see we're at 144 hertz, and it's gonna stay dead center, and you're gonna get some really good response times, and you're gonna get almost no tearing. And I think we talked about this a little bit earlier too. Some have taken initiative in their own hands and found ways to enable light boost in 2D modes for zero motion blur type settings.
Okay,
so that's something you can Google, check out some forums, and people are finding ways to experience 2D games.
This is kind of some extracurricular activity at your own risk, of course. But light boost is a feature when people have been playing in 3D mode in particular, and they're using 3D glasses. You do lose a little bit of the actual brightness when it's coming through the glasses. So light boost is an Nvidia technology that they've implemented to add more brightness to the screen, so that when you're watching in 3D, you can see what's going on. You don't have dark areas that are fading out into not being able to see any of the detail. So supposedly, these are forum posts again, you guys can look them up. If you enable light boost in 2D mode, it adds to the, it reduces the amount of motion blur and actually gives a smoother gameplay experience. Again, that's subjective.
Yeah.
We're not suggesting that you guys do this, but you guys can look up that information.
It's one of the reasons the monitor has gotten so popular so quickly.
It is a very popular, and we were checking out some of the threads on this, and there's lots of people who are interested in this type of gameplay, especially, again, if you're into Twitch-type gaming, FPS, first-person shooters, of course, anything where you need really quick reaction time.
Exactly. Right. So let's take a look at the one other Game Plus feature, more for the RTS-type games that we mentioned, which would be a timer. We do have the different timers here available, so you can go ahead and select a timer. Once you've selected it, you can select the position on the screen that you'd like it to be on. So right here, let's select the lower left, and then we can see that the timer is now going. So if you're doing raids or need to meet up at certain times with people that you're playing strategy games with, it could be a useful feature for that as well.
Lots of different implementations or ideas that might make use of the on-screen timer, but another nice add-on feature that you have. I know we already talked about the inputs and outputs, but let's flip the monitor around really quick to take a closer look at the base and the I/O on the back. So we've laid the monitor flat, as you can see, so we're looking at the inputs and outputs that we have down here. Over on my side, we have an AC power input, of course, a Kensington lock, which is right here, which you might not be able to see very well. Also, all the buttons down here, which are actual push buttons, which I tend to like. And then over on Nick's side, we also have our video inputs.
So we've got a display port right here as the first one. We've got dual link DVI, and then we've got the HDMI port, as well as mic in and headphone out.
Yes.
If we go ahead and stand it up on the back here, we can see that the stand also has the full pivot, tilt, swivel. It's got all the abilities that you could expect out of a stand, and at the bottom here you've got the cable management connector, so you can go ahead and kind of route all those cables through the back here and keep it a little bit neater.
Some very nice design elements here. I do like the red highlights. You can see a bit more red also actually in here near the height adjustment. We already showed you guys the pivot. You can do that if you want to go into portrait mode versus landscape mode. Then of course easily height adjustment like that, and of course the tilt like this. I'm doing this very quickly, and then of course the stand has a base which also allows it to swivel. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I'd like to say thank you to Nick once again for stopping by today.
Thank you, Paul.
And thanks to all you guys for watching. If you'd like to see more tech videos, you can find them on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe while you're there. We'll see you all next time on Newegg TV.